Hey everybody, it's Never, and welcome to a Fireside with Never. Today I'm going to talk about Blizzard's new silence system because, well, everyone's making videos about it, so I thought I might as well jump on the bandwagon or something. So the new silence system is, if you're rude or naughty in chat too many times, then folks report you, and if too many of them report you, then someone, maybe a robot, investigates it and you might get silenced. Now, silenced players can't use general or trade chat, they can't talk in instance chat, and they've got a limited ability to send whispers to people, and they can't send in-game mail, although it didn't really clarify whether this excluded sending stuff to your alts or not. Anyway, the first time you get silenced, it lasts for 24 hours, and then it effectively doubles every time after that, so the second time it's 48 hours, and the 8th time it's about 4 months, and it doesn't reset. Now, honestly, I don't have a problem with this, but it seems like it might kind of work. It should at least help cut back on some of the annoying things we see in chat, but the thing is, it seems a little unnecessary to me because it's really just a way for people to hear less rude and naughty things. But the problem is we already have that feature. It's called the ignore list. I don't have to wait for lots of people to report the guys doing anal jokes in trade. I just report them to myself, and I'm judge and I'm jury and I'm executioner too, and I ignore them, and then I'd never hear them again. So what we really need is an improved ignore list. It would be nice if there were some options, like maybe to ignore the character or ignore the whole person's account, or to ignore them for 24 hours, or to ignore them forever. It'd be kind of neat. The other thing is, give us a longer ignore list, because it's not that hard to fill that thing up last time I really looked. This leads me into another thing that, it's not really beef I have with Blizzard, it's just something that I've noticed. And so we're going to talk about a little bit of behavioral psychology here. So I want to talk about reinforcement versus punishment. Reinforcement is something that you do to encourage a behavior in someone else. Punishment is something you do to discourage a behavior. So you reinforce something you want to continue, you punish something you want to stop. And there's positive and negative versions of both of these, and I'm going to go through these real quick. So positive reinforcement, this is the one that most of you have probably heard of. And that's where you introduce something new into the situation to reinforce a behavior. So it's a gold star. It's, awesome. You did that thing. I want you to keep doing it. Here's a treat. Here's a prize. It's really, really simple. It's bribery. Then there's negative reinforcement. So you want to reinforce a behavior, but you do it by removing something from the situation. So it's like when, your teacher or your boss says, hey, if you get all this work done, you can go home early. So you're removing the need to do a bunch of work that you would, the need to be at work or the need to be at school for doing a good job. You're removing something that people don't want. That's a negative reinforcement. Then there's positive punishment. That's like when my mama used to whoop me with a wooden spoon. It's bringing something into the situation that I don't want so that I will avoid doing whatever they don't want me to do. It's pretty simple. And then there's negative punishment, which is basically going to bed without supper. It's keeping people from doing something by the threat of taking something away that they've already got. So there's examples of each of these in World of Warcraft. A good example of positive reinforcement is the moose mount. It's something that we didn't really expect, but there it was. It came out, and it's fantastic because it's a reward for doing something above and beyond what a lot of people would have done. And I've been very impressed with the outpouring of generosity in the community for people helping others to get the moose mount, because it's really such a strong motivator. Blizzard want people to do Hellfire Citadel. They want them to play their raid for a year, and this moose mount has really made that happen. It's a perfect example of it. It's a really great gold star. Negative reinforcement in World of Warcraft is kind of like Pathfinder, because you see, we've had flying for a long time, and we can fly pretty much everywhere in the game, but then we get to Draenor and we can't fly. It's something that we had before and now we don't. And so Blizzard's reinforcing going out and doing the quests, doing the treasures and getting the reputation and all of that stuff by giving us back something that we had. So they're removing the restriction of not being able to fly. I think there's some double negatives in there, but you get what I'm saying. So Pathfinder is negative reinforcement. If you do what we want, then we'll lift this restriction off of you, so it's no longer a thing anymore. Positive punishment is kind of like, well, raid mechanics. The fire is there. Don't stand in it or you'll burn up and die. There's a debuff. Dispel it or everyone will die. It's something bad happens if you don't do the right behavior. Pretty simple. That's kind of how raiding works. Negative punishment is like the deserter debuff if you go AFK in Battlegrounds. It keeps you from being able to do something you want as a punishment for doing something that Blizzard doesn't want you to do. And all of these are really okay in the right situation. The silent system is a negative punishment. It's preventing you from doing something you want as a punishment for doing something you're not supposed to. In my experience, positive reinforcement works much better than negative reinforcement, and positive punishment works better than negative punishment. There's some cases where that's not really true, but if you think about the behaviors in the game that you've changed the most or put the most effort into to accommodate, for me anyway, it's always been to earn some kind of reward for the positive reinforcement or to avoid something unpleasant happening again. The best examples I can think of are I will break my back to get achievements that are important to me because it's good reinforcement. It makes me want to try to do stuff that I never would have done. And also, if I screw up on a boss fight in a raid, it makes me really want to avoid the behaviors that cause that to happen again. I don't want to get the punishment, and so I stay away from doing that. They've both been extremely good motivators to me, and they're both fun. Whereas the other side of it, preventing me from doing something that I want, or finally removing something that I haven't wanted in the first place, it really just feels like you're doing all this work just to break even. Whereas the positive examples, they feel like it's something extra on top of what you normally get. So in the end, I'd say let's just ask Blizzard for a better ignore feature. Okay, thanks, bye.